Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN just after 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, and we got markets flirting with records yet again. I can pick up a recording to begin the program every day, man. But nonetheless, we back off a bit. We're right now up 13 points. We're about 10 points away from the all-time highs that we hit within the last hour, and you have the S&Ps in positive territory. NASDAQ 100 higher by 0.4%. You see the drive down lower at about 10 a.m. this morning. From there, we're up a solid 100 points in the NASDAQ 100. We're up by 90 points on the session, or 0.4%. The Dow trading lower today. UNH trading lower in a big way on news-driven event. Dow off 0.5%. The Russell off by 1.1%. Bitcoin up $880 at 119,000. Ethereum, how about Ethereum? Up by 4.5% to 37.56. Crude trading higher by 92 cents. A little bit of a two-way market today in crude. You drive down to lows of 65.40. We're back above 66 at 66.18 right now. And we jump to the all-important notes and bonds and dollar. The 10-year lower by 7 ticks right now. Okay, we got a 10-year yield that is right near 4.4 right now. Let's pull it up exactly. 4.41. Okay, the 10-year is at 4.41. You jump over to the dollar, and we got dollar weakness continuing no matter what happens to yields. I know I've said it many times, okay, if you've been listening, but you haven't been, if you have not heard it yet. No matter what's happening with yields right now, you have dollar weakness. Okay, this run that we just had, when you were at 96.37, the 10-year was at 4.19. The 10-year is at 4.41. So we're up 20, 21 basis points. And meanwhile, the dollar gave it all back just like that. So you've been selling the dollar. And even with a weak dollar, gold's selling as well, down by $22 at $33.75. Now, with that said, gold's in a consolidation right now, okay? By digesting a 1-to-1, A to B, C to D, perfect move. Folks, what do they say? No such thing as coincidences, right? When it hit that run, when you hit 33.63, yeah, we have a spike high at 35.09, okay? And yes, higher prices are definitely possible. I still think the dollar is probably going to 90 at some point in the future. But gold needs to consolidate. You just go from 2,000 to 3,500 in the span of what? Barely over a year? And that's not even cherry picking the low on gold. I know we're going a little bit big picture here to kick off the program. Cherry picking the low would be 1,600 in 2022. You could take the lows of 1,860 in 2023, but this run really began in February of 2024. And yeah, you want to see how consolidations work? That run that began, okay, in February, because you can extend this box a little bit further from the breakaway. You break away, boom. Not until February. That was a consolidation. You did break away, okay? But yeah, that could be higher too, right? If you go up to the tails, that was the break, man. February and March of 2000. And what were you in? You're talking about, is that 4 years? It's a 4-year consolidation area for gold. Whew. So we might be coming into an area when you get these huge accelerations, okay? Because that area had gone from 1,100 to 2,100, right? You had almost doubled in price. Well, we just did almost the same thing. You went from 1,600 to 3,500, okay? If you take the lows that we had of November of 22, but even if you take where we were in October of 23, you just doubled in price in less than 2 years. So it's interesting to see the action because we got some dollar weakness this week. And gold not reacting favorably to that number. We're going to be talking to our man Tim Ward coming up later in the hour. We'll talk some gold as always. We'll get his take. And we'll go from there, baby. All right, we jump over to the VIX. So, you talk about a move, man. Right? No fear whatsoever in this market to step in front of a market that just keeps creeping higher. Now, we're coming into more tech earnings, okay, but we've gotten past one of them. As in Google shares, up by 1.5%, giving back a lot of the early gains. But still strong numbers for Google. You accelerate higher. In the pre-market, you give them back on the open, but we're still up by about $3 or 1.5% to $194.35. Tesla, on the flip side of that, down by 8.2%. When you got Elon telling you that they're in for a couple It's either a couple or a few. It's an important one. We'll find out what he said exactly. I'll pull it up. Some tough quarters, okay? And when he's talking some tough quarters, folks, he's usually one that's over-promising, under-delivering, and hey, that's cool. But yeah, they got some tough go-around. You hit 341, you're down by 8.3% right now for Tesla shares. Jump back to those Google numbers. Man, now, what I think part of the reaction this morning, okay, and you never know, it's buying and selling, right? The reason why did it trade lower on the open? Well, the reason why it traded lower on the open is because there were more sellers at that price on the open than there were buyers, and they finally found out where supply equaled demand, which was a lower price point than where it opened. They increased their CapEx to $85 billion, up $10 billion from February, okay? But it's even bigger than that because they were at a much lower number, and I think it was in the Bloomberg article, and I'll pull it up. I mean, this thing just keeps getting ratcheted up in terms of the CapEx, and it's not going to stop. It's like the Holy Grail is out there, right? If you're the first one to have computers that can do everything and robots that can be your assistant and your agent, and you have agents for every task in the corporate world, that's it. You're done. Now, that's not where it's going to be, but that's the race. And so CapEx is not going to slow down. You see NVIDIA will jump to is trading higher today, but Google, how about $96.4 billion versus 94? Folks, they took in an extra $2.4 billion in 90 days. Okay, earnings, they crushed it. 231 versus 218. YouTube revenue, they beat 9.8 versus 9.56. This is all versus what was expected. 13.6 billion on Google Cloud versus 13.1. They beat by $510 million on cloud revenue, which percentage is a decent number. And then traffic acquisition, though, was higher as well. So in light of that company being positive by, what are we up, 2.5% right now? 1.5%, up $2.40. Boy, you talk about being priced for perfection, man. I mean, they crushed it out of the park, but you know where they didn't crush it? They're going to be spending $10 billion extra dollars, billion with a B. But guess what? Who are they spending it with? NVIDIA, up by 1.6%. to $173.50. You have Microsoft right now up by 1.1%. Amazon up by 1.5%. Stay tuned, folks. We'll come right back.